You ready, little guy? You ready? You ready? Yeah. Talk about somewhere. Okay, wrap for this thing. It's not really sticky. All right, there we go. Scratch throat today. Hi, everybody. Welcome. It is Tuesday. It is hype date number 554, where nothing happened. So, turns out 2 years since plan confirmation don't mean shit. So BBYQ is still DK butterflying, and we're standing around with our dicks in our hands, just hanging out, doing what we do, and that's that. Outside of that, Pete Hegseth had his big old meeting with all of the generals and admirals, and it was a dud. Definitely had some hold for applause moments, and no one applauded. Trump told them that they're free to express themselves however they like, and they chose to not make a sound. There's still pictures of the crowd. You have generals face palming themselves, one's joking to each other, the rest of them look like they've been hit by a train. Trump was slurring his words throughout much of his speech, kind of garbled, not really making much sense in a lot of things. Pete Hegseth was really just keen on calling them fat and useless, and that he didn't like fat people. Okay. As you know, my sister's a captain in the Navy, and she was put up for nomination for a promotion for admiral. And if you go admiral stage, you have to be approved by the Senate to become an admiral. And Tommy Tuberville, throughout the entirety of the Biden administration, filibustered any promotions in the military. So no one got to move up to admiral or general or anything like that. And when Hegseth became in charge, he blackballed my sister for being too fat. So she's no longer allowed to promote anymore. She's 6 feet tall, 170 pounds, can squat 1,000 pounds, bench over 200, and run a marathon. And she is too fat to be an admiral in this man's Navy. So I don't know what they're going to do about... Maybe my sister should have lied and just said she was like 6'5". And then maybe her BMI is all of a sudden... It's ridiculous. So I think this stunt that Hegseth pulled, I don't want to say could lead to a junta, but I think destroyed any confidence these men and women had in the leadership of the U.S. government. And, you know, a letter went out to the soldiers from their commanding officer for the reservists that had sent to Portland, basically saying, I'm sorry, I know this is bullshit. Don't do anything too drastic. These are your community members. Just go through the motions. If I were Donald Trump and I had this big old parade that I just wanted so bad, this military parade is going to be awesome, and all the people from the military showed up were like, fuck this. And they just kind of sauntered and chatted amongst themselves and like did the bare minimum. I would not think suddenly having all of their commanding officers in one room that suddenly they're going to be like, rah, rah, ree. These folks, you know, there you do get shitbirds amongst a lot. You know, you get your General Flynn's, people like that. But for the most part, these folks go through really rigorous background checks, psychological evaluations. You know, some of these folks are in charge of nuclear weapons. You cannot have an unstable person in charge of any nuclear weapons, submarine commander, Air Force, whatever. And you know, these folks are measured. They're very well educated. They know the laws. They know, you know, what legal and illegal orders are. I have a lot more confidence in those generals than I do the Secretary of Defense of the President of the United States. I mean, the Secretary of Defense basically told the generals to start ignoring the Geneva Conventions. So these generals are now going to volunteer themselves to be sent to The Hague for war crimes, for whatever they do. I don't think so. These guys are all historians. Every single solitary last one of them are historians. They know military history. They are forced to go to the war colleges and learn about it, learn about tactics and crimes and legality, and So I think this was not the Nazi moment that Trump and Hegseth were hoping for, where the generals were starting to be like, "Yes, I swear my allegiance to you, sir." I don't think they did that. So, wow. Other news? Anything else happening? Lots of news coming out about subprime car loans and how they're basically just going belly up. CarMax posted like a $500 million loss or something like that. It was $500 million loss in revenue. Whatever. They shrank considerably. Tricolors going under. Hertz and Amazon are now kind of might be destroying the bread and butter of used car dealerships, which is Hertz is now selling their fleet vehicles through Amazon at retail prices, where before they would dump them at major auction houses, and then the used car dealers would pick them up. Something like 25% or more of all the cars that are sold at used lots come from these fleet vehicle sales at these auctions. So these auction houses, which might do $250 billion a year in sales, now just lost one of the biggest fleet sales folks in Hertz going to Amazon. So you might see some struggling happening on the used car market as these used dealers are trying to find vehicles that they can pick up to put on their lots. So yeah. Anything else, Monkey? Don't want to add anything in there? I don't know. You guys will talk about it in the chat. So let's boom.
Houston, we have a problem.
All right. Turn that off. Oh, the other intro was on. I'm going to do that again. Oh my gosh. Okay. They're all off, I think. Okay. Sorry. Hazel A was first today. Nice job, Hazel. Lyco Crypto. Beardos Unite. Polestar. Yo. Lone Wolf. Sup. Polestar. So they're not going to swear in the Dem rep, it appears. The dude who claims he has the messages from Mike Johnson, he put out a thing either this morning or late last night. I saw the video this morning, basically saying he talked to some lawyers and some experts, and he's kind of going quiet for a little bit until Wednesday passes. He still says he has the same goals. And then I saw another video from a guy who knows him, and they're messaging, and he got a screenshot of the conversation. And the conversation was from 2023, before Mike Johnson became speaker. So, I guess we'll see what happens tomorrow. I mean, the government shutdown is supposed to happen tomorrow. So, I probably should have bought some puts before close today. Maybe I can't open? I don't know. When did they announce the government shutdown? Is it at the end of the evening? Is it Thursday? Like, oh, went through Wednesday and now it's closed. I don't know. I probably should have done something. Man. Polestar says, Dem leaders being clowned on. That racist video Trump reposted. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Dem leadership are a bunch of weenies. They truly are like the weeniest weenies who ever weenied a wiener. And they just... there's no fight in them. There's nobody who's like rising up in leadership who's like, I'm going to take the wheel here and this is how we're going to do it. Instead, they just sort of, I don't know, flop about like a fish on the deck of a boat, hoping that they're going to flop over the side and escape. That's what we have at the Dem leadership. The only person not on the national level is Gavin Newsom. He's trolling Trump so hard. What we need is somebody on the same level on the national stage in the Senate or the House or even Democratic leadership in the party to do the same thing, to just bulldoze them, take that mantle and just poke, 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 poke. Because that's the only way you win is standing up to a bully. You don't do it by being like, I hope I do the right thing. That's not going to do it, Jeffries. Jeffries in a sombrero. Yeah, that video with him in the sombrero and like the poorly dubbed Chuck Schumer thing. It's all bad. Polestar. Epstein files won't be released as government is shutting down, and Trump will use some backdoor government shutdown rules, pass more Project 2025 things. Oh yeah, and they're going to lay off a boatload of civil servants and then discover they've got to hire them all back again. That'll happen. And then owe them back pay and everything else, and it'll come up costing a fortune. But, they don't learn from their lessons. They just keep doing the same thing over and over again because they're a bunch of tool bags. Bill Coyne, V for Vendetta, military in our cities. Remember V for Vendetta? It takes place in England or the UK, and there's snippets about the Civil War happening in the US during that time, and tanks in the cities and whatnot. And that's how a society collapses, is that you get some sort of megalomaniac in charge who wants full and total control, and the only way you get full and total control is to abuse the populace. And to abuse the populace, he's a single man, so he needs to be able to convince all the people with the guns to do the abusing for him. And that's what we have. And that's what today's thing was really about. I would not doubt if you see in the news in the coming weeks, folks who attended that meeting today, like the general put his head in his hands, get fired. You're out. You put your head in your hands, you embarrass the president, you're out. You were chatting with the guy next to you, you're gone. You didn't smile or clap, out of here. And they're going to try and distill the leadership down into this, I don't know, this cabal of Neanderthals. And the only way out of it's going to be a junta. So we'll see if anyone has the balls to do it. Polestar. That whole assembly of the generals, etc., was not for them, but was for the general public to see, and the clips and outtakes from it make Pete seem strong and competent. Thanks, media. I don't know if it does. I mean, basically they had the whole like, please clap type thing going on. Just silence, utter silence from the generals. There was no emotion. There was no response. There was one moment of chuckle when Trump said, if you walk out, you're fired. And they're like, ha, 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 ha. That was it. That was like the only response they got from anybody. Well, they got a woo from was probably a staffer, not a general at one point. I don't think it makes him look strong. I think it makes him look insane. And he definitely was doing the whole Patton thing with the giant American flag walking in front of the stripes. It was very sad. I think it was more sad than anything. Basat Baman, not 10th. KYP Hasten. Hey, KYP. 4ZZ9. We just got used. Polestar. USA is going from being, as the kids say, cooked to fried burnt. Yeah. Hi, Win. What's up, HW? Love your show. Ready for Moas? I've been ready. Just do it already. Crying out loud. All right. Turkish. Happy birthday, W. Stinky treats for Monkey, but are we done with BBY? Is it never happening? BBY case is not done. So we still wait, and we still twiddle our thumbs, and we still hope that something will happen someday. But we can do stinky treats. How about crackers this time? Because they have 8 million pounds of these things. Yeah, you want this? You want one of these? You want like big boys right there? Yeah? Oh yeah, get it. Put some crumbs in your bed, dude. Those are kind of stinky for milk buns. Moon. Are the GME warrants a new QSIP? How will you buy more? Curious, thank you. If you're on a trading platform, one of the big brokerages, Fidelity, E-Trade, Schwab, whatever, you have the ability to trade warrants. So you just search for the warrants. I think it's GMEW is going to be the ticker number, I believe. But there'll be a QSIP for them, and you can search for them that way. And then you can buy them just as you would stocks or anything else. So yeah, that's what you do. Polestar. Oh, and hey, Taiwan, move your shit to the U.S. or huge tariffs. And then when China attacks Taiwan, we won't have to protect you anymore. It's really hard because some of these machines are super delicate and precision built, and they're built by one company on Earth that's out of Denmark or the Netherlands, and they cost billions to build and take years to build the factory. So what could happen is they get in the process of moving stuff, China invades, and then we lose all the ability to make microchips around the planet. So, yeah. Trump is not going to protect Taiwan. He's not going to do it. I don't know. The military might, but Trump won't want them to. And Taiwan will be sort of on their own the way Ukraine is right now. And you may get Japan and other allies jumping in to help, but it's gonna be a mess if it happens. Chris Taylor, hello. Polestar. Grinder guy went into hiding after lawyer advice. Won't see him again, lol. Hopefully we'll see all of the info that he said he had. Yeah. GDC. The latest Epstein list leak mentions a Canadian billionaire. Bruh. Well, I don't think Ryan... I think in Ryan's defense, I don't think he was a billionaire at the time Epstein was doing all his shit. So, granted, where he lives now, and in combination with the crowd he hangs out with, if Epstein was still alive, he definitely would be invited to whatever parties they had going on. He's in that circle now, that's for sure. But I do wonder which Canadian billionaire isn't the Lloyd Blankfein, is he Canadian? He's British. There's the guy that had the big publishing house that bought up all the local papers across the US. He was Canadian. He bought our local paper and destroyed it. What's that guy's name? Canadian cajillionaire. He seemed like a total dirtbag. Gotta open that up. New window. There we go. Oh, son of a bitch. Oh, restore. Jesus. All right. Chrome just updated, and now won't let me open up new windows just by clicking and opening up a new window. It's very annoying. So now I've got to take this, and I got to drag it over to this window, and that's the only way I can get a new window. That's annoying as hell. Okay. Canadian billionaire publisher local papers. John Grennan? That's New Zealand company. John Grennan. I don't think that's not the name that's clicking him. Conrad Black. That's who I'm thinking of. Conrad Black. He's the newspaper publisher, financier. I would bet it was him. This guy. Chrome. Bam. This guy here. If I had my bet, this guy. Absolute tool bag. Absolute just buying up all the papers across the country, especially little local papers, and just gutting the newsrooms, leaving it basically with one editor doing all the work, and then just like taking syndicated crap from across the country and shoving it into these local papers so no one knows what's happening in local government because there's no longer anybody on the beat, like going to council meetings and holding anyone. He's a shitbird. I don't like him at all. Hush. Quiet. Hush. Dude. That's the person who lives here. Jeez, it's all right. It's okay. Hey, shush. You see her every day. It is okay. You don't need to bark. We're talking about Conrad Black, you ding dong. You're all right. Jesus. We go 5 years without you making a sound, and all of a sudden, a person you see every 30 seconds of your life walks past the window. Anyway, I bet it's that guy. Is there some sort of what do they call it thing? Dude, seriously. Shush. Kolbashi. What are those little group pure betting things? I would bet him. Anyway. I lost my spot. Where was I? Oh, it's cold all the way down. That's why. Oh, but there's a super chat from Corey Jones. Since the Braves are in the playoffs, I guess I'll tell you good luck. Good luck. I won't care about the Braves until next year when J.R. Ritchie is on the pitching staff of the Braves. Then I'll care about the Braves. Until then, good luck. All right. Where was my spot? I did that guy. Dude, Monkey, seriously. Shush. Quiet. Just maybe shit is going down in multiple places. The world will look very different in 2 to 4 weeks. Yeah. It will. Oh, my reset got me stuck in top chat. Yeah, it will definitely look very different in a couple of weeks. I wouldn't doubt if we start military campaigns in Venezuela. I think Russia's running out of fuel at an alarming rate that they now are trying to import refined fuels. So they went from a net exporter to an importer now, and they had to go out in the market and buy it, but there's sanctions. So they got to buy it from shady countries, and I don't think they can do it in the volumes they need. I don't think there's enough infrastructure to get refined fuel across the border to them. So it's going to be pretty rough. Plus now, because the Shadow Fleet is being used to do these drone surveillance things and drone attacks, countries around the world are starting to clamp down on the Shadow Fleet. And a lot of these are older, outdated, unsafe vessels. Even China won't allow the Shadow Fleet vessels into their ports, and they need the oil that comes from the Shadow Fleets. So it looks pretty rough. One of the ships got seized off of France today. Russia is not getting that thing back. The crew is probably going to be arrested, and the ship will probably be dismantled. So things are moving fast around here, real fast. Polestar, and yeah, another hype day comes and goes as tradition. Guess we're not seeing anything to buy more GME shares. Thanks, RC. Chris Taylor, cool 70s ski sweater vibes for the win. This sweater, I've had this sweater since 8th grade. I got it at Ross before my 8th grade year. I was like, that's fucking cool. Zip up sweater, if I like it. And I've never gotten a more visceral reaction from the crowd for wearing this sweater than I do. People hate this thing. Absolutely, with a passion and fire of 1,000 suns, they hate this sweater. And I love it. I don't know, it makes me look like a Syracuse fan, probably. But, it's like a weird skiing / Letterman sweater. I have no idea what it's all about, but I dig it. I like it. And it's kind of cozy. The weather's changing, but it's like fall, so it can change back. So having knit plus short sleeves kind of gets you that in-betweenness. But yeah, people hate this thing a lot. Mark Lavalley, hello from Canada. Hello. Aaron, buy ticker symbol AREB on Robinhood and Fidelity before October 3rd for the 20-to-1 reverse split roundup, Houston. The stock is at $1, so between both accounts turn 2 into 40.22. Nice buy. Buy now. Noted. EN. I'm 1 to 2 weeks of getting out of GME. Cohen used GameStop supporters to fill the war chest and provide nothing to his investors. I think we wait. I've got to wait until we see what happens with the warrants. If he ever, warrants get close to triggering, he dilutes or does something stupid like that, then gone. But man, he really needs to do one of the diabolical things people have come up with. There are so many cool things he could have done between 2021 and now that would have exploded the stock and exploded the overall value for the company and raised way more money than what he's raised so far. If he dilutes, the 75 million shares while the stock price is $300, you raise a lot more. Holy smokes, dog, that fart was so bad. Goodness gracious. Can we just plug this thing up? Let me just take your tail. I'm going to take it out from under you, and I'm just going to plug that up so that you don't do that again. That was horrid. That was aw- and we're in an enclosed room. Like, just suck it out with your mouth or something so I don't have to breathe it. Can you do that? You bark machine? Yeah. Stinky treats, stinky poots. Lisa saw FIFA World Cup mascots are revealed: Eagle, Moose, and Jaguar. Who would win a fight against Scott Besant? When Scott's a brawler, he probably would take all of them. A moose, I mean, if we're talking on physicality, a moose will beat the shit out of him. A jaguar has the strongest strength-to-weight ratio of any mammal. Have you ever seen a jaguar's biceps? Those things are insane. They will just crush your skull, and that'll be it. Although I do really want to pet one really bad. I want to just pet a jaguar. That might be like my deathbed thing. Take me to the zoo, have me pet jaguar, and then it can eat me, and that'll be it. And an eagle, if it's Eagly from Peacemaker, it will also kick his ass. So, you got that. Anyway, hey, Ron, one share each. Nathan Scott, vacation for the next 2 weeks, baby. I'm going to crack a cold one and listen. Everyone can have my vacation hype instead. Vacations are so wonderful. I need one. Matthew Bennett, I was promised a Hawaiian shirt. Were you now? Like a crypto, shutdown begins tonight at midnight. Oh, shit. So then I probably should have bought my options today. Well, maybe I could still get on it in the morning at some point. We'll see. Corporal Walnut disappointed, not surprised. EN agreed, very, very disappointed. Lisa saw Taliban is cutting off the internet in Afghanistan, like literally cutting fiber optic cables to protect the population's morality. It's funny when like the least moral people you know are always trying to protect the morality of others, right? Like the Afghan warlords that have a bunch of like little boy toys like the Greek warriors, and you know, they're just like raping women and doing all sorts of stuff. They're the ones protecting your morals. It's a whole do as I say, not as I do society. And it's just... Anyway, they're protecting those morals, man. Hitting one of super chats. So Marco Rubio arrested for crushing in the 90s? Oh, sorry, cruising. Not crushing. Cruising in the 90s. Cruising an area in Florida known for gay men. Yeah! Well, he wasn't arrested, I believe. Oh, maybe he was arrested, but he wasn't charged. But he was with a man who had been charged multiple times for those things. It's been a long rumored amongst the South Florida community. Judas Mammy can attest that Marco Rubio was definitely on the gay scene back then. It's almost comical, the stereotype of, I think the lady doth protest too much, and how well it works. You have all these folks who spend their lives desperately trying to cling to some sort of like religious superiority, and then vote for the elimination of rights and privileges of people in society who are exactly like them. It's a very weird psychological phenomenon. I don't get it. Like, Pete Hegseth hates women. Absolutely hates women. Doesn't want them in the military at all. I came across multiple women who are like, I'm a veteran and I support Pete Hegseth. I'm like, dude, Pete Hegseth wouldn't give you the time of day, and if you were still in the military, he'd fire your ass. Why are you carrying water for this dude? Marco, you're gay. Mike Johnson, you're gay. Lindsey Graham, you're gay. Tim Scott, you're gay. All these dudes are homosexuals. Every single one of them. They all got secret little Grindr accounts. They all got rent boys they hire. They would, but in their minds, they're like, if I spend my days trying to hurt people like me, then no one will suspect that I'm one of those, right? It is the weirdest psychological phenomenon. That's why, that's why this study is always so important. Homophobic men are aroused by gay male porn. It's not to say that gay men are responsible for homophobia. No. This is to say that repressed gay men who refuse to acknowledge who they are inside are responsible for homophobia. I think the lady doth protest too much. They're trying to cover for this. This is why you see those dudes, you know, they like, you'll see them interviewed on Fox, and they're all about QAnon and, like, you know, saving the kids, and they get busted for kiddie porn or trying to have sex with their niece or whatever. They're trying to cover for whatever it is that like their dad tried to beat out of them or something. And I don't know. It's just live your truth. Society and you will be happier in the long run if you do. That's why you get crashing of Grindr at the Charlie Kirk Memorial or at the RNC. Just live your truth, man. This isn't the 1950s anymore. You can just live your truth, and guess what? Nothing bad will happen to you. You'll move to the Haight or something, or Castro District, or Capitol Hill in Seattle, or West Hollywood, and you will be the happiest person you've ever known, and it'll be an absolute just stoke fest. So just go live your truth, be happy about it, and stop destroying society trying to cover up for the fact that you're gay. It's not, oh, did it just close? Did it? Oh, there it goes. Okay. What the hell? What's the computer's being really weird? They did some sort of update and everything's just going wrong today. And freaking me. Okay. Back to Houston. Hazel A. Everything this administration says is a lie. When any large group voices a concern, their response is another lie. They are lying until whatever their mission is completed. Yep. And Joe's Mammy says Project 2025 is halfway complete. I think it's like 47% complete at this point. And yeah. Dang, when this another super chat. Did you cover that dude who has Speaker Johnson Grindr profile? We talked about it briefly at the beginning of the show. He came out with another video saying he talked to a lawyer and some other people, and that multiple people now have the information. A guy who claims is a friend of his showed a screenshot of the profile, the communication on Grindr, where Mike Johnson sent a picture of himself, and says it was from 2023, before Mike Johnson became speaker. So I'll see where it goes. What happens tonight or tomorrow? Interesting. Dijon Mustard became a problem solver, and Low B just did some lurker fishing with 10 whole memberships. Let's see here. Time tells all. There's a lurker. Dimitri Maximoff, Turkish. Carlos Cruz, Daniel Batchelor, Dylan Miller, Silent Rob, Curious Lurker. There's one. There's a lurker. They even named themselves Curious Lurker. Nice. LJ and Lisa Scheckler. Nice. Is that all of them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 10. Good job. We got a couple of lurkers, and not even someone called themselves a lurker. So, Curious Lurker, you've been outed. Ha! One of these days, you'll get a Roaring Kitty or a Ryan Cohn or something in there. Okay. Dijon Mustard in Canada. When the government can't pass a bill, the government stops and calls a vote for a new government that can pass the bills into law. Why is your government holding the people hostage? Because our government is designed to be an absolute clusterfuck. That's why. It's designed to be impossibly slow and to be totally just, I don't know what to call it. What would I call it, monkey? Obstructive to advancing any legislation. Basically, we can't get any meaningful legislation passed because of our two-party system. You have technically multiple parties, and you form coalitions, right? And so a coalition can all of a sudden be like, I'm out, and then the government falls apart. Here, that can't happen because we have two parties. And what we need is proportional representation across the country, and no longer have first past the post elections where a minority candidate, someone who gets below 50% threshold, can still take office as a result. We need runoffs, we need proportional representation, we need something different. And then we have a whole bunch of really stupid Senate rules that makes it so that, yes, a thing will pass if it's 51 to 50, right? Or 49 to 51 or whatever. And, but you need 60 votes in order to get a vote. And so that's the filibuster. You make it so that you can't get 60 votes for people to agree to vote, then nothing happens. And it's a really stupid, dumb system. Give me a parliament. Give me a proportional representation parliament where, you know, in each state or each district, you just vote for the party you want, and you get that many representatives that proportionally sent to represent everybody. Just needs to be the way it happens. And you have to form coalitions and all that stuff. That would then you know, third parties become viable, right? If all of a sudden it's not like, oh my God, if I vote for this third party, Donald Trump becomes president, you'll actually get people who will vote for third parties because you'll have runoff elections and things like that. So it's a fundamental flaw in the Constitution of the United States, and it was all done in order to protect slavery. It's an institution that no longer exists. So we should stop protecting slavery and rewrite that part of the Constitution. They should have done it after in the 13th and 14th Amendments. They should have done away with the way Congress and the Senate operated. Just get rid of the Senate in general. Just get rid of the Senate. Make Congress much larger and more proportional representative. So, yeah. Dimitri Maximoff, can you imagine? Super chat. Can you imagine convicted felons standing in front of U.S. generals, people that devote their lives to taking out criminals around the world? Yeah. And Trump messaged out late last night, make crime illegal again, says the guy who's 34 felony convictions. Cool. Tanny Oneness super chats. Man, Speaker Johnson has got to be blue balling right now, hence why he sounds like a moron every presser. Dude legit can't focus. Weirdos. They're all so weird. Tim Walz was right. They're weird. They're so weird. Every single one of them. Just live your truth and be normal, dude. It's not that hard. Go buy a sweater like this or something. I don't know. Change your life. Where was I? I did that Dijon mustard one. Polestar, Democrat shutdown is imminent. Americans don't agree with Democrats' actions. The Democrats aren't doing anything. It's the Republicans who have the majority. You'll notice that every time there's a government shutdown, the Republicans have had the majority. Every single time. The government has never shut down when the Democrats hold the House. Ever. But shutting down Republicans do. The Republicans cannot get their own members to vote for this bill because their own members know how damaging it's going to be to the healthcare system and how everyone's health insurance is going to shoot through the roof and become absolutely 100% unaffordable. So if you can't get your own party in line, then maybe change the stupid bill and make it so it doesn't destroy healthcare in this country. It's stupid. So yeah, they can blame the Democrats all they want, but the Democrats are just voting their conscience here. And you know, if the government's shut down, the government shuts down. Oh well, that's it. You did it. You're the majority. You guys could all vote in lockstep and pass this thing, and there it goes. But you won't. It's amazing. I get the number of comments online the last couple of days when I point out that the Republicans have the majority and they could pass this thing anytime they want. And someone comes in about the Senate thing, like, well, they need 60 votes in the Senate. It's not the Senate that shut down the government, dumbass. It's the House, and the House does not have a rule like that. They just do a straight vote, and they lost the vote. That's it. They already did the voting, and now the government's shutting down as a result. It's the Republicans' fault. Shitty legislation that can't even get their own party members on board to support. So, yeah. GDC, why do you think RC enjoy? Or what do you think? Which do you think RC enjoys more? Making money or seeing his shareholders suffer? As of now, it seems like it is the latter. Yeah. Because we still haven't gotten that true value for the shareholders they promised. You know, when Warren Buffett took over Berkshire Hathaway, it was a failing textiles company, and he turned it into a holdings company. In the first 5 years that he had that company, the stock went up over 300% and has never gone down. Just kept chugging. In the first 5 years of the stock, it's basically flatlined. It's done, we had some like woohoos, but it did not stay there. The stock is still less today than it was in this time of 2021. So, come on, man. Make that thing green. That's what you talk about. You talk a big game about creating shareholder value. We'll create the shareholder value already. Just Miami, speaking of the Senate, Democrats' bill to extend government funding lost 47-53. There you go. So the Democrats like, hey, let's extend the funding and we'll keep the government open while we negotiate this. The Republicans were like, no. So it's just, I say it every week. We're in the dumbest timeline. I lost my spot again. How do I always lose my spot? Oh, there's a super chat to keep me distracted. Any district plus 19 Trump and down could be up for grabs come midterms. Hence why New York Rep Stephanie couldn't get her ambassadorship and couldn't have happened to a better person. She was also booed in her district. Yeah, we're seeing like plus 20 Trump districts flip and elect Democrats right now, which is why Trump is freaking out and trying to gerrymander. But the problem is they may have gerrymandered these states so poorly that they split up a whole bunch of Democratic votes into these previously red districts and may have pushed them below that threshold. Texas is now worried, looking at the swings in elections and the special elections so far, that they may have added like 10 more seats for the Democrats in Texas as a result. So they really, really, really have to disenfranchise a lot of voters to try and ensure that these districts remain red. Oops. So, yeah, kind of funny that they may have doomed themselves in that respect. I think Missouri just like took multiple blue districts and turned them all red, and it's like 1-7, and they may have done the same thing to themselves there. They may have absolutely just put too many blue people into these red districts, and now there might be a swing that's not in their favor. Polestar, I think they fire all these people because they don't care about paying them out, and then they hope they found a different job so they can hire more bootlickers who will do what they want. Talking about firing everybody if the government shuts down. Yeah, the problem is that the courts will probably require them to hire them all back. And Tanny one is another super chat. Also, Latino vote might actually not be in their pocket anymore. Abolish ICE. Oh yeah, my friend Ricardo. He's a citizen. He's a gay man from Ecuador. He was Trump, and now he's like, the military needs to take Trump out. He's a bitch. So like. They lost him. He was convinced that Trump was going to change things for the better, and he fell for all the hype because they did a really good job flooding things like TikTok and Instagram with Spanish language videos talking about how Trump is their guy, Latinos for Trump, blah, blah, blah. And he fell for it. And he openly admits that he fell for it and that he regrets it and that Trump needs to go. The swing from the youth voting for Trump and Latinos voting for Trump is just flipped. These folks see it and they're like, oh no. They had to learn their lesson the hard way, but hopefully they learn that lesson, it's going to last, and they're not going to fall for the next, crappy authoritarian populist who comes along. If the Democrats do manage to take a hold of this stuff, they need to be as cruel as possible. No more Mr. Nice Guy. No more giving people benefit of the doubt. No more being like, well, we could charge them with a crime, but we're going to just try to forgive and forget, and hopefully it'll be better next time. No. Punish. Punish. Kind of side note, unrelated. My best friends built a new house. And I went over this weekend and finally had a chance to check out their new house. They had submitted the plans originally in 2020, and then COVID hit, and then of course stalemates happened, and everyone's working from home, and stuff's not getting moved. And the original estimate for the cost of the house was about $450,000. And throughout the 5 years to build the house, the cost went to $1 million. So it cost them a lot of money to build this place. And one of the problems they had is with permitting. And I totally understand regulations. Behind every regulation, there is a death, right? You make sure the framing's up to code, electrical's up to code, water's up to code, flood zones, environmental. I get it. I understand it. The way the local government nitpicks it increases the costs and time to build by so much money, it makes it really difficult for low-income folks to have access to any of this. And one of the things they need to do is they need to assume the builders are doing the right thing, right? So you have these regulations, design must be this way, it must be, setbacks, etc. And you should get the paperwork and go, cool, they did the paperwork, done. Rather than slow the entire process down and nitpick everything along the way. Instead, what you do to be very efficient and to get rid of the scamsters and the people who will break the rules is when you see an egregious violation, that's when you find them and you make it so financially painful that no one will ever think about doing it again. Because these are not crimes of passion. These are all premeditated. Premeditated crimes, if you punish people so hard enough, they don't bother to premeditate those things. They go, all right, I'm not going to do that. Because the cost is too much compared to the benefit they would get. If people cut down a bunch of trees illegally and you slap them with a little fine, that's $100. Don't do that again. They're gonna cut down the trees every single time. But if you charge them, minimum wage for the amount of carbon scrubbing each one of those trees did over the course of their entire lives, and they're paying out federal minimum wage for 1,000 trees who are 80 years old at $7.25 an hour, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year for those 80 years, they're never going to do anything like that again, right? If we actually do our goddamn job, punish these assholes for the crimes they committed, and make it so brutal no one comes along ever wanting to do it again, that is when you get a successful administration, successful party. But they just don't do it. They're what about if in the future they do it to us? They won't be in power, dummy. They're in prison. If Merrick Garland did his goddamn job while Biden was president, Trump would not be in office today. Period. At best, there'd be some other Republican in office, but it wouldn't be Trump and his army of weird MAGA bootlickers. So, yeah. DJ Mustard saying Conrad Black. Thank you. You got it before I managed to find it. And Colin says Conrad Black. Yeah. My guess is that dude. Let me say. Conrad Black, Jeffrey Epstein. Is there an actual connection? Oh, here, IMBD. A look back, Conrad Black and Jeffrey Epstein. There's an actual movie called that. The world's most popular authority. Okay. Just a reminder, Conrad Black, who's behind the residential school denialist movement in Canada, is a Jeffrey Epstein in Jeffrey Epstein's Black Book. Conrad Black. So I'm glad my gut feeling. Yep. Yeah. There's a whole podcast called The Company Credit Epstein Chronicles. There's a whole episode about Conrad Black and Epstein in there. Interesting indeed. Poster. Even Jake is getting into tinfoil predictions now. That's how desperate we are at this point. Tinfoil does no good. We just need to have Ryan Cohen just come out and say, bam, checkmate. That's all you need. That's all you need. It's just checkmate. That's all I need, man. Just do it. Just do it. Okay. the filthiness. They call Trump and Hegseth fat man and little boy because of how badly they bombed today. Calling all the generals in just to tell them how much you hate people who have beards. I love that he was like, we can't have long hair and beards. We're not some Viking pagans. Buddy, you have all your Christian white supremacist tattoos all over your body, and Jesus had long hair and a beard, man. Your hero. The guy you claim to worship, which I think he doesn't. I think he worships alcohol before he ever worships Jesus. But that dude with long hair and beard. All the knights, all those knights in shining armor that you crusaders that you value so much, they had long hair and beards, man. Yeah. And all those like real badass dudes, like I was a veteran. Every single one of those guys have a giant bushy beard covering up their lack of a chin. And you know, he's all the Civil War generals, all big ass beards. I understand that today you have fire suppression systems and you have to put on masks if you're on a ship or whatever, and you can't have a beard like this because you can't get a good suction and noxious gases can get in. I totally understand that, right? I get it. But like trying to pretend as though someone with a beard can't pull a trigger is kind of silly. People with beards pull triggers all the time. You go to any gun range near your house, half those dudes be wearing like American flag hats with big old bushy beards. That's what they do. They pull triggers and they have bushy beards. Really dainty. It's anyone in the Dumbass Crusaders got dog walked. It's true. It is true. Saladin crushed the Crusaders, and even the Crusaders built monuments to him because he spared their lives while kicking their asses. And I'm not your friend. Aloha from Wahoo. Sup, HW? Any news on Sears? Nope. Not a thing. Not a thing, buddy. How about you? Any news? Any news in the dog land about Sears? Huh? Any news about Sears? Dijon Mustard, Canada charging billionaires Frank Stornak, Robert Miller for sexual abuse. They are in that circle. There's more of them. It's an international thing. Like if you're a billionaire, you are above nation status, and you are in a clique that is very international. That's why things like WEF exist, so that they can have a place to go meet and like, I could become a megalomaniac just like you, and now I'm going to do all the horrible, dirty things and create some sort of harem of children or something. Pulsar, the Canadian billionaire is likely Kevin O'Leary, who was pushing Trump in the elections and went to Mar-a-Lago with the premier of Alberta to kiss the ring. That's probably another one in there. DJ Mustard says O'Leary was never a billionaire. Oh, okay, well, there you go. Nor will he ever be, says Julius. Pulsar, thought he was at one point. Guess I'm wrong. DJ Mustard, he wishes he was invited to the island. Hazel, hey, hello, Houston. If you never wear that sweater again, it'll be okay. See, I told you. People hate this thing. I love it. KCTB Blue Sky demands age verification owned by Trump supporter Tim Sweeney of Epic Games so they know who you are. No way I'm verifying. I might leave platform. I don't think I ever had a KYC verification for Blue Sky. Interesting. I thought it had gone to an open source nonprofit. What Blue Sky now was. But I'll have to look that up. GDC RC has revealed himself to be such a piece of shit that I would not put anything past him. Yeah. Apolitical RC was much better before he had succumbed to the billionaire class of South Florida, because all those guys are just dirtbags. They're dirtbags back in the 90s. They're dirtbags today. And, man. Daniel Bachelor, Houston, Silver, and Gold kind of doing the right thing now. Or doing the thing right now. Expectations? Hold a decent portion of my cash in both. It is basically a hedge against inflation at this point, is what you have in gold and silver. Because if you look at gold and silver in euros, it's not doing the same thing. So, silver prices dollars. Let's look at here. Spot price. Can I do it in euros in this one? So you can see. Oops. No, go away. You can see like the price. You know, we're at. What is it? This is. I need to go back further than this. I need to go to year to date. That's what I want. So you can see the steady progression that silver was at. What was that? I can't read that right now. $30 or so, $25, and now it's at 45. So it's getting close to have doubled over that time, right? Can I put it in euros? Euro. There we go. So euros went from 25 to 40. So it's not going up the same rate in euros. Gold is an even bigger thing. Gold prices. Give me the old gold price here. Okay. I need this graph to be bigger, dude. I want. Oh my god. I'm getting Apex. Apex will do a better job. A better read on that. Here's Apex. Okay. Mix. Okay, so here is gold. We will go to year to date, and you can see that gold has gone from 2,600 US dollars to 3,800. So it's risen 1,000, 1,100, almost $1,200 in that time since January of this year. You do it in euro, and it's risen from 2,700 to 3,300. So it's gone up 500 euros in that time. So less than half is the rise of euro. So 46.9% to date in euros, and in US dollars. Wait, no, that's not. That doesn't make any sense. 27, 33, and then you go 27 to 38. That is not 46.99. Why is that number not changing? That's incorrect. That's the US dollar version. Anyway, same thing with Bitcoin. Want to look at Bitcoin? BTC price euro. BTC in euros, 97,000. Remember, when Trump took office, the euro was parity, was 1-to-1 with the US dollar when Trump took office. 1-to-1, like exactly. Price dollars, 114. So there's basically almost a 20,000 unit difference between euros and dollars. That's what's happening with gold and silver as well. You're basically hedging against inflation, and if you hold on to that stuff, you can probably put it into a stronger currency if need be at a later date, and also use that as a hedge. So, yeah. Doink. Sip of water. Get a couple more questions in here before it is time to run away. Michael B, did you cover Larry Ellison buying up half the media landscape? We kind of briefly talked about it. His son, Skydance, bought Paramount, right? And now they're going to own TikTok, and now they want to buy Discovery Warner Brothers. So yeah, they're buying up a huge chunk of the media landscape. And Larry Ellison's a fucking creeper. Absolute creepy monster. He makes good sailboats, but a creepy monster nonetheless. So, yeah. Yeah. Chris Taylor, your sweater could be provoking the University of Florida haters. Go Gators. Oh, I guess, yeah. It could be Gator colors, right? John Mustard loves Cougars. KCDB, Hegseth military war cry, no fatties, no beards, and complete lethality and loyalty. Otherwise, resign now. Was it what you expected? Seems like open promise, lots of wars coming. Not only that, but U.S. cities are a great practice ground for our soldiers. Basically, he wants the soldiers in there doing war crimes against our citizenry. So, yeah. GDC Houston sweater is clearly a New York Mets sweater. The Mets missed the playoff. Suck it, Steve Cohen. DJ, how much is Mike Johnson deadline tomorrow? Polestar says, oh great, GameStop tweeted a danger noodle that looks like the snack from Superstock Awards post in before 2,000 plus Reddit post about it. Who cares, man? Anyway, I gotta get going. Gotta make this dog sad by leaving for work, right? You know what's coming. I'm sorry. Tomorrow, I don't know what time I'll do a show tomorrow. I've got the day free. Usually day free. If the weather's nice, I'll be doing things. If not, probably expect to show at the regular time. But until then, you folks have a great evening, great day, great time, great morning, wherever you are. I don't know. And I'll catch you later, right? So I have to click the thing and go bye-bye.